Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast. I am your host, Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Joe.
Joe, I think this is one of my favorite episodes from this season. I think it's up there. Like, I really enjoyed this episode.
Wow, look at you. All right. Hello, everyone. Episode 84 of Attack on Titan. Full spoilers. Here we go. This episode was basically just group therapy. Am I wrong, Joe?
No, it was just a nice little kumbaya by the campfire. Am I right?
Abso-fucking-lutely. So we've got... I gotta remember all these names again. All right. We have Peck in Cart Titan form. We have Commander Magath. We have Annie. We have Reiner. We have Gabby and Falco. We have the volunteers. Blonde girl. Yelena. And Anya Capone. And then we have fucking Hanji, Mikasa, Armin, Jean or Jean, Connie, and I think that's it?
Levi,
that's right. He has a cameo in this episode, saying that everyone's really fucking loud and annoying. But yeah, that's pretty much everyone, and it's just these characters that we focus on for the entirety of the episode, and it's literally just all them sitting around a campfire as Hanji's making everyone a stew, and everyone is just talking to each other, being like, "Man, we've all killed a lot of people, and you're a dick. No, you're a dick. No, we're dicks." Oh my god.
That's the big takeaway from this episode. We're all dicks.
Everyone is a dick.
Yeah, man. Like, I love how in this episode, really, a lot of the stuff that you were seeing, like the visuals, wasn't really that important. It's what you were hearing. It was all the dialogue that was the big takeaway.
Yes, most definitely. And that's most evident in... They don't show a lot of interaction between people when stuff starts heating up, like when the conversation tends to get a lot more heated. I like the little, the metaphor of when Reiner and Jean or Jean were... No, this is when Magath and Jean or Jean were talking. And as the conversation kept getting heated, they kept cutting back to the stew as it started to boil. And I was just like, that's a visual trick. Very nice. But yeah, a lot of the shots in this episode, instead of focusing on like actual characters, which it does a lot, to be fair, because there are a lot of characters in this one episode, but it does just cut away a lot to like trees or still shots of like the soup or stew or whatever the fuck, or a couple of other not like consequential seemingly things that are just kind of there. So I found that to be kind of like a little sad, because I was like, I like to look at things move. It's an animation.
I liked it. I thought it was very refreshing. I kind of liked again, we said the past two episodes were a change in tone in the fact of, like, again, we're in that, like, connective tissue part, but, like, this is a really big change in tone where it's, like, even just the episode, it's, like, no real action. It's really just all dialogue, chilling out, and, yeah, I just really liked this episode. I knew things were going to get serious once Marco popped up. I was like, oh, no. I was like, don't do this to me right now. Don't do it. I'm not ready for this.
Yeah, seeing Marco, like, especially in the beginning when it's just Hanji, Jean, or Jean, and Mikasa, and she's talking to them, and then you see like all the fallen comrades from the scout regiment, and then you see Jean or Jean just look over and see Marco, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that guy. Because I never really thought too much about him. Like, he was never of any consequence to me. He was just one of the guys that died real early on in the show. But as the show kept going on, it might have just been the fact that they seemed to put so much weight on it, on Jean or Jean's conscience. But I guess it was a pretty big deal back in season 1.
Yeah, back in the 2013 days, it was huge. The internet was going crazy over it. And apparently it was really big in the manga too. But, like, especially someone to you, like, who had just hopped into it, like, was it 3-4 years ago?
Quote unquote just hopped into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't that big of a deal, but yeah, I remember in 2013 it being like, oh my god, Marco died, like, there was this whole crazy thing. But yeah, once I saw that, I was like, uh-oh, this is about to be an emotional episode, and it's really good because it's like, again, we're starting to see this theme more and more throughout Attack on Titan, where it's like it's just this, it's a never-ending cycle. Like we saw it a lot. What is it? Last episode, I think Anya Capone said it, where he called like all the Jaegers like xenophobic pieces of shit, and I like literally that's literally what it is. It's just this never-ending cycle of okay, one group of people get repressed, they get mad, take over the other people, and then it flip-flops, and now the people that were the oppressors become the oppressed, and you see it with Magath, where Magath is like, dude, do you not realize that like Marley was treated like shit for 2,000 years, and we were in your possession? Like it's just this never-ending cycle. And that's really the big theme of Attack on Titan. Is just this never-ending cycle of you think you're the good guy, but in the end, in the end, we're all dicks.
Yes, exactly. This is the mantra of the show going forward. I just want everyone to know that. Yeah, and like delving more so into some like the actual character interactions that we got going on in here. I think my favorite interaction was between Annie and Mikasa.
Oh, oh,
Yes,
yeah.
excuse me, but because Annie is just fucking cutting through all the bullshit straight to the point, just being like, all right, you guys don't have a plan of how you want to kill Eren Yeager. Sorry, there's something in my throat. Okay, and you don't have a plan because you don't want to. You still think you can just talk to him and figure it out. And Mikasa is very much like you can see it in her eyes. I think she knows that she's probably have to like be, if not the one, a major player in killing Eren if it's impossible to like talk him out of fucking world genocide. But she doesn't want to accept that yet, so she's still fighting like tooth and nail to the point where she pulls out. She doesn't have blades on them, but she
Oh,
pulls out the triggers of her ODM gear
let me tell
and
you
is ready to
something.
fuck Annie up.
Let me tell you something. When she did that, I felt a little something in a certain place, and I was like, oh boy. I was like, let's settle down now. Like, not Mikasa. Like, I appreciate that, but whew, I'm not in the mood. Let's go. Let's move along.
We still got to get through this group therapy session.
Exactly.
All
I
right.
was like, not the time. I appreciate it, but not the
There's a
time.
time and place for this. It is not around all these friends and enemies, though, right now. Just wait a little bit
Love
longer.
where your head is at,
Yes.
but we'll push this back.
Yeah, exactly. We'll rain check this. Anyway, Annie also flicks out her ring and is ready to just fucking go Titan Berserk mode. But surprisingly enough, Annie's the more level headed one and puts away her ring first and just says to her, he's like, we need you to help stop this insane genocide plan. So for now, let's hope we can talk him out of it. If not, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then Mikasa turns her back and is like, fine. And I'm like, there's a lot of people acting like that, like they turn their backs and they're just like pouty for a minute and then they're back to normal. And I'm just like, okay, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing. I mean, again, these two groups of people are, I mean, they're all just not prisoners of war, but like they're enemies, and now they're trying to work together to achieve a common goal. And you can't just push back the fact that again that Gabby killed Sasha. Like, there's this really nice scene. I think it's Yelena that goes, "Okay, let's talk about the facts here. This person is responsible for this person's death, and you're responsible for that person's death." And it's this whole interconnected, connected web of how pretty much each of them is responsible for somebody else's close friends or relatives' death, or somebody that meant something to them. And it's like basically Elena's saying like you're all fucked up. And again, I feel like that's like the fifth time we said it, but that's really what this was about. This was like group therapy, just kind of sitting down and saying, look, we all fucked up, and kind of coming to that realization of the never-ending cycle of violence and oppression, and that you need to come together on some form of goal. And I like how Hanji's kind of like, this can be that goal. Like, we are sitting down and talking. Oh, the best is when, obviously, when Marco comes back up and, you know, Yelena says along the lines of like, "Oh, Annie, you ever tell Jean or Jean about like how Marco died?" And Jean finally finds out the truth. Um, and oh my goodness, I mean, his reaction of punching Reiner. Oh my God, I so good, so good. Um, but like just like finding out stuff like that, like they obviously everybody feels bad about what they've done. Nobody's proud of it. Um, and yeah, I don't even know where I was going with this. It's just it was such an it was like intense in the sense of we just need to get our grievances out here, work together as a team. Oh, the main thing I wanted to say was when Gene asked like what did he say at the end? It was like, "Oh, we never got a chance to like talk this through." And Hanji bringing up the fact of like, "Oh, look, we're here now and we're talking and stuff like that." Even though Gene slash John goes and starts punches the shit out of Reiner, I'm like, "Ooh, bad timing."
Yeah, not not the best not the best timing there. But yeah, that was by far the most explosive moment because like you can kind of tell the entire episode group therapy session was building up to like there was going to be a boiling point somewhere along the line, and that was it. And the part that finally stops, Jean or Jean from kicking the shit out of Reiner, despite like two of the other his friends like trying to hold him back, was Gabby jumping in and just taking the kick, and Jean or Jean is just like, oh fuck, I've just kicked a child. What am I like? I'm going berserker mode, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be doing that right now. And luckily, he cools off. Gabby asks him, begs him to help them, stop Aaron, and he turns around and pouts and fucks off, and then they all go to bed. And in the morning, he wakes up Gabby, and Gabby's like, "Wait, are you gonna help us?" And I love how Jean or Jean it just says, "Of course, like duh, of course I'm gonna fucking help you." And I'm just like, yes, good shit, Jean or Jean.
Yeah, I also like in the beginning of this episode where he like when Hanji first knocks at the window, he's like, "Just act like you didn't hear it. Act like you didn't hear it, and you can just go on with your life. You can live a comfortable life." But he's too good of a dude, and I love the conversation that him, Hanji, and Mikasa have, where he's like, "Hanji, I get what you're saying, but like, think about it. If we do this or this or this, like, Aaron kind of has a point, and he's about to make this, and Hanji just snaps, and she's like, "You don't fucking like, do you not realize I fucking get that? Like, part of me wants to agree with Aaron, but at the end of the day, genocide is wrong," and she just keeps repeating that. Like, at the end of the day, you cannot do this. Um, and I love how Gene or John was kind of like, "Damn it, like you're right. I'm just being a little bitch. I'll help you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, other than that, because like that's not.
Ooh,
Oh, what?
the big thing, what not big thing, but the only like new information we got in this episode was the fact that Yelena lied about her background,
Oh yeah, which I found was interesting. It wasn't
but
like
not
of
important.
any. Yeah, it wasn't of any major consequence. So instead of being from like a country taken over by Marley and like being like fucking drafted into like the Marleyan army, Yelena is just a straight up Marleyan. Like she found religion in Zeke, and she was like, "Yo, okay, fuck this." And so she crafted her own entire backstory and just piled lies on top of lies. And so that's like the backstory that we knew of Yelena. Which, to be fair, wasn't a whole lot. It was a pretty basic like outline, just be like, "Yeah, I was from a thing like Anya Capone, and it was taken over, whatever the fuck." But I do like this little wrinkle, just being like, "No, she was just a straight up Marleyan," and everyone I just tried to fool everyone because I fucking hate you all now. And I was just like, all right, well played.
Yeah, it just proves more to the fact that she's a fucking crazy bitch.
Most certainly. Is there anything else in this episode that you want to be talking about?
I mean, the only thing is that where we're going now is they have all agreed that we need to stop Aaron, but they're trying to figure out how. It's a race to get to the port to
Oh,
um,
yes.
get to him, but it looks like the Jaegerists have taken over the port where I forget who it was. I believe it's supposed to be like the Asian woman in this
Yeah.
world, who was like the head of like the Asian country, is like being held hostage there, and now they have to try and figure out like, okay, do we need to attack all the Jaegerists and take over the port? So I'm interested to see where this goes, but has this been 2 or 3 episodes now that we haven't seen Aaron?
This has been three. Like, this is the third
Wow,
episode we
it's
haven't seen
weird.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so strange.
But I gotta feel like this is like the night of the end, is what the episode was titled. Next episode was titled Traitor, and it looked like it was just going to be an entire thing of like trying to like Flock seems to be like the mini boss all of a sudden, and I
Ugh,
I had
I'm,
not expected like when I first saw this wimpy douche nozzle of a character back in season 3, for him to turn out to be the weird like mid boss that all like the people are trying to stop or get around or whatever the fuck. I'm like, this is kind of interesting. Also, if there's a dirt bike in the background, sorry if you can hear that. Fuck off. But yeah, I didn't expect Flock to turn out to be such a character, I guess, in the sense. So it's kind of cool, but still, I really fucking hate him, and I wish he would just go die in a ditch somewhere. Like, please, for the love of God, fuck off.
Yeah, when I saw him at the end, I was like, oh, I'm like, why are you still alive? It's kind of like how I felt with Gabby towards the end of part 1 and the beginning of part 2, where I'm like, oh my God, Gabby's still alive? What the fuck? I don't feel that way anymore. I'm pro Gabby now. But Flock, I'm like, oh, why are you still here? Yeah, again, Attack on Titan doesn't give us much, but really, really enjoyed this episode. I loved how they just kind of got everything out in the open. And again, a different type of recap episode almost. But yeah, man, I'm excited. And yeah, it really does feel like it's winding down, especially with it felt weird having no opening for this episode.
Yes.
And I was like, oh shit, is this like the signal of like the end has begun? Like, oh damn.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. So, with that being said, everyone, we hope you're enjoying watching Attack on Titan like us two dumbnuts. I did the other thing where I flipped the fucking letters again, but I'm just going to keep that one in because I think it really makes it work. Anyway, everyone, we hope you enjoy listening to this as well. With all that being said, we will love you, we'll leave you, and goodbye.